How toxic is this water if you drink it? They're not going to get COVID-19. There's an evil spirit that sometimes looks out of the window. There are men at work down under. You can even wash your fruit and veg. It says here, Bangkok is the Venice of the East. I'm not sure this city still deserves such a romantic sounding tagline like the Venice of the East. Those words alone conjure up images of romantic gondoliers in Venice or punting on a sunny Sunday afternoon in Cambridge. The reality is, in 2021, if you compare to old maps, you can see the sheer number of waterways out in the open. A lot of them were covered up in the 1950s to make way for roads, and that alone has contributed to the major flooding problem we have here every time it rains. You know something, when I was doing my research for this video, I did notice that there seems to be some slight confusion as to where exactly does this canal begin. If you look at Google Maps, for example, it will tell you that the canal begins just up there after the Khlong San Saep bridge around the Bobae Market area. But reading Wikipedia, it tells you that it starts right here at Phan Fa Pier. So if this question ever does come up in a game show on Mastermind, you will not be winning top prize, because the answer, from what I've seen, is not set in stone. This is Hua Chang Bridge on Pier Thai Road, and if you compare this scene with a lot of the old photographs, you'll see that not that much has changed. The major difference being the width of the canal, which was slimmed down in the 1950s. That was a time when Bangkok was covering up a lot of its smaller canals to make way for streets. And the other legacy of that is there's a lot of 1960s architecture around here looking pretty shabby. One question often asked is, how toxic is this water if you drink it? Well, I've got no idea myself, but if you think that over the years it's been polluted with motor oil, cooking oil, garbage, raw sewage, dead bodies, the whole 9 yards, well, I think that makes it pretty toxic indeed. Well, those two kids are jumping in and out of the water like it's their own swimming pool in their backyard, and their dad's there as well. He's not even worried about them catching anything, so that's testament to the fact that it's definitely had a good clean up in the last 10 years or so. The company that run the boat service are promising electric boats in the near future, and on both sides of the canal the towpaths have been spruced up pretty well in the last 3 or 4 years. Just ask Global Travel Mate, he's always up and down here on his bike. I've taken a little walk. We're about 1 kilometre away from the terminus back there at Wat Sri Boon Ruang. Anyway, this is the area where the boats are stored, most of them anyway, overnight. I was here the other night and there was at least 100 packed into this 1 kilometre stretch of canal. And from what I can see further up, there are other piers being built, so an extension would be the logical reason, and Minburi would be the logical terminus of this new extension. And when the MRT Orange Line opens to Minburi, maybe the canal boat service could offer a more, maybe cheaper, more scenic alternative route for commuters. I've just been told an interesting tale about this building here. It's derelict and looks like it has been for quite a while. One of the guys fishing says that since the year 2540, which is 1997, no one has gone in here, no one wants to rent it or buy it or even clear it for the land, because there's an evil spirit that sometimes looks out of the windows on certain evenings. And I'm not going to say I disbelieve him, but it's just another one of those superstitious stories. And it certainly looks like no one's been in there for so long. It has got some Chinese writing on the side, but yeah, it doesn't look very welcoming at all. Well, this is Lam Sali intersection, and if you compare to last year when I was here, construction is in a really advanced stage. The columns are up, the station is taking shape, and even now on a Sunday night, people are working overtime to get this finished. There are men at work down under. I remember reading plans in the early 1980s that they were going to fill in the canal and build an expressway along the route. That wasn't a very popular plan at all, and it obviously didn't happen. And then later on that decade, there were other plans to run a SkyTrain line alongside the canal, and they even did a few surveys which weren't too successful, I believe. I was hoping to get a nice rear view of Pratunam Pier by coming on this side, but I didn't think the cables would be in the way like that. Anyway, I was even going to run back round the front, but at this rate we're going to get caught in a thunderstorm and it's going to be dark, so I'll just get on with it. Pratunam Pier is the main interchange on the whole canal, and it's here you swap boats to go towards Phan Fa, that's near to Democracy Monument. This side of the pier is where you head east, and it goes through the back of Sukhumvit, Phetchaburi Road, Ramkhamhaeng, Bangkapi, and as far as Wat Sri Boon Ruang. It's no surprise that over the years there are countless stories of ghosts and urban legends along this canal. There's a ghost of a dog even. And there is a sad story of a guy who tried to swim across the canal here just in front of Hua Chang Bridge, and he never made it, believe it or not. And even though this is a man-made waterway, there are still currents that could drag you under if you're not a very strong swimmer. Well, comfort levels have most definitely improved on these boats over the years. When I first started using this service, the seating was bench style right across the width of the boat, and if you wanted to sit at the back, you had to climb over everyone. Not too convenient in rush hour, that's for sure. The other thing that's changed for the better are these plastic sheets that you can pull up, and they block any water splashing in and rain, because before it wasn't unusual to get a face full of canal water every time another boat went by making waves, and I always used to buy the Bangkok Post before I took a boat so I could cover up my face with it. Now you just pull it up and it stays up. I'm in the far eastern suburb of Minburi, and this is where the Khlong San Saep takes on a whole new identity. It looks better, smells better, there's zero boat traffic, and you can even wash your fruit and veg. At least I've made a new friend anyway. That's proceedings over for the day. The rain hasn't been kind to me. I've made it as far as the Bang Pakong Thai temple, and just downstream there is the Quan Riem floating market. Believe it or not, yes, the Khlong San Saep has a floating market and lots of fish as well. That's the difference a few kilometres makes away from the city. I'm about 50 metres downstream from Bobae Market Pier. It's the only place around here to get any shade away from the oppressive heat. It's an absolute scorcher today. And this is where the main crossroads of Bangkok's canal system happens. It's where Khlong San Canal crosses the San Saep. Electric boats and diesel boats cross paths, and they've even got a traffic light system. Chachoengsao Rat 32 bridge carrying Khlong San Road also goes over here, and Bobae Market surrounds the whole area. Bobae Market started in 1927 selling agricultural goods, and then after Second World War, the story goes that they started selling second-hand clothes that belonged to those killed in air raids over Bangkok. So here's your history lesson on this canal. I need you to cast your mind back to the early 19th century, if you would, and Thailand are at war with Vietnam over territories in Cambodia. Troops, weapons and supplies are needed on the front line, so King Rama III ordered them to dig a canal from Bangkok to the Bang Pakong Rive in Chachoengsao. At a cost of almost 100,000 baht and 3 years, the Khlong San Saep was completed and did its job. When the war was over, it was retained as a major transport route.